The verse on the Jester for Jesus website for today is from Acts chapter 1 and verse 11. It's a bit of a long one, and it says this: "This same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will come back in the same way you have seen him go into heaven." Today is what we class as Ascension Day, 40 days after the resurrection of Jesus on Easter Sunday, and today is that 40th day. When we think about Jesus going back up in a pillar of cloud back into heaven, he came, of course, as a baby, born naturally as a baby, but he was taken back supernaturally into heaven, back to the right-hand side of his Father up in heaven. This was said to the disciples, the men of Galilee, that were gathered round as they kind of gawped up into the air to see Jesus disappear into the clouds. The beginning part of this verse says, "Men of Galilee," the angels were speaking to them. We could imagine there's been 11 of the disciples there, and they're looking and thinking, what do we do now? Well, what they were going to do next, we'll find out a bit more about that as the days progress. But we know what they did do. They didn't stand there looking up into heaven. They went out and they did tell people about Jesus. And that's how come now we all know about what Jesus did. Some of them wrote stuff down. The people went out and spoke. That what they said was written down. And that's how come we have the contents of the Bible today. They didn't stand there looking back up into the sky. But there's a promise in this. That same Jesus, the way he's going up, you'll see him come back down again as a promise of Jesus' second coming in this ascension story. So I sometimes think if you get a bit low, sometimes we look down and think, well, why not look up instead? And look up and just remember that Jesus is going to come back at some point to meet us back on earth. And that's a tremendous thought.